Welcome all. Today we are going to start our next lesson, that is diversity in living things and their classification. Earlier we have studied our first lesson, that was the natural resources. Second lesson we have seen the living world. We have also seen the characteristics. So the third lesson is diversity in living things. So what is meant by diversity? Yes, diversity means variety in living things and their classification based on their varieties. Okay, we are knowing that all the plants or all the animals, they are not being present on a same type of sphere. For example, if you consider frog can survive on land, also in water, but all the animals, they are not supposed to do so. Okay, so that only part we are going to study in this lesson. In which sphere of the earth do living thing exist? Can you tell me which sphere they exist? We are knowing the three sphere. Yes or no? So we can tell this answer. In which sphere they exist? Yes. In hydrosphere, atmosphere, they use the air for their survival, and the lithosphere. The geographical conditions at the different places on the earth are very different. At Antarctica it is very cold, but if you consider the equator area, it is hot and humid. Same again, the pole areas will be having cold region. The geographical conditions at different places on the earth are very different. We find that the living thing exists in all these diverse conditions. Diverse means what? They are being living in this variety of conditions. When we live in a certain place, we adjust to the condition there. For example, if you are surviving or if you are staying at a certain place, we are staying in Devgarh, so we are adjusted to this place. Suppose we went or we are supposed to go at some place where it is cold. Few days you will have the problem of the temperature, you will face few of the certain, like you will fall ill, etc. So we live in the certain place and we also try to adjust in that conditions. Various types of the living things have survived because of their ability to adjust themselves to the variety and to the conditions in their surrounding. If you fall sick, if you are not able to adjust yourself, then you should understand that your immunity system, your immunity power is very weak. But if you adjust in a certain surrounding, having no issue to your body, no issue to your health, then you are best adapted yourself to survive in any temperature or any conditions. Okay, so we'll see further now what are the diversity in the plants. So there are diversity, there are variety in plants also, in animals also. So which are the varieties in plant? We will see. Various types of plants are found in many places around us. Yes, we agree to this sentence that we can see the variety in plants which are nearby to our surrounding. So are these spaces in that particular quantity or they are more? Yes, they are more, and whichever are nearby us we can see them. But you have not thought about the forest area where these plants are in number. Okay, some plants like grass are short while others are tall and have a canopy. Some are tall means what? Yes, you are knowing the coconut plant. It is very tall, but some are having a canopy. Canopy means they are giving you certain type of shelter. For example, banyan tree. If you consider that plant, it is giving you the shelter. Some plants grow underwater. Grow underwater means they are growing underwater, while some plants are floating on water. Few of the plants, they are floating on the water, such as lotus plant. We find that some plants grow even in deserts. Few plants grow even in deserts. Moreover, we find that there is a lot of variety in same type of plant. If you consider one of the rose plant also, you can see there is variety in the color. You can see that hibiscus plant, there is variety in color of hibiscus plant. So one only plant it is, but there are varieties in them. Same, for example, there are different varieties of rice or wheat. You are knowing the rice which you are eating, you are consuming that. There is variety in that also. Some are this particular grain of it is, some of rice it is small, some other are very big. Different types of roses, mangoes of different flavors. Some plants even grow without stem, leaves or roots. Some plants are there which are growing without stems, some are growing without leaves, and some are also growing without roots. These are very different from the ordinary plant, and these plants which are present, they are different from the ordinary plant. Their characteristics are little different from this plant. So we are going to study the diversity among the plants. Okay, One thing, plants, clear this one thing, that plants make their food in sunlight. Okay, such plants, the plants which make their food in presence of sunlight, such plants are said to be as autotrophic plants. They are said to be as autotrophic plants. Auto means what? They are doing on their own. Okay, they are not dependent on anyone. So plants which are preparing their own food, that plants are said to be as autotrophic. For example, hibiscus, pomegranate, periwinkle, etc. They are giving out their own flower, etc. But the plants which are dependent on others for food, for example, some plants uses other plants for food. They are being present on other plants stem. They are absorbing their particular nutrients. They are only just present on other plants. Such plants which are dependent on others are said to be as heterotrophic plant. They are said to be as heterotrophic plant. Autotrophic means what? They are preparing their own food. Heterotrophic means what? They are dependent on others for food. And plants like pitcher plant even consume insects. Some plants, they are consuming the insect. Why they are consuming insect, do you know? Yes, they are consuming insects for to satisfy their nitrogen need. Plants require nitrogen for their growth, and to satisfy that need, they are consuming insects, and such plants are said to be as insectivorous plants. Which plants they are called to be as? Yes, they are said to be as insectivorous plants. Okay, you can see in the first picture, it is periwinkle. The next one is cuscuta. It is also called, you can know them as dodder or loranthus. The next one you can see, it is given in the pic. Okay, now we will see the structure of plant. Plants are generally be divided into two parts: the part of the stem which is growing above the soil, and the part which is growing below the soil. Okay, the root, the stem, the leaves are the main parts of plant. Root, stem and leaves are the main parts of plant. From time to time, plants bear flowers for reproduction. Flowers get transformed into fruits, and fruits have seeds, and again that seeds give rise to the new plant. So there is a reproduction process. They are also producing the same one as themselves. So you can see over here the reproduction, which was the characteristics of the living thing. What do plant do here? Plants are bearing flowers. They are getting flowers. That flowers are getting converted into fruit. Fruits are giving us the seeds, and seeds later give the rise to the next plant. So they have described you the structure of plant. You can see over here the picture of plant is present. Okay, just we will see one part of the plant. The first part they have given you, that is the flower. You can see the flower is the most attractive part of the plant. It is connected to the stem with the help of a stalk, which may be long or short. You can see that stem and flower, they are connected to each other, and that connection, that particular line which is present, that is called as a stalk. A flower has a typical color, a typical shape. A flower is an important means of reproduction. This question is very important. Dash is an important part of reproduction in plant. So your answer will be the flower. Flower is an important means of reproduction. Now the next part we are going to study is the leaf. The leaf is flat. It plays an important role in production of food, because we know that the production of food is mainly done in leaves, because the leaves color is green, and it is also consisting of chlorophyll, which helps in the photosynthesis process. Leaves are generally two types. One is simple leaf, you can see over here, of hibiscus, and compound leaf, which consists many leaves to one particular stalk. So this type of leaves are said to be as compound leaf. Now we will go for the stem. Now we are knowing what is the duty of stem. Yes, stem gives a support to the plant. It attaches the leaves to it. So the height, shape and size of the plant depends upon its stem. How much stem will be longer, that much the particular plant will be big or small. The stem carries out the function of production, conduction and storage of food. What does the stem do? Yes, the stem carries out the function of production, conduction and storage of food. In some plants, it has the function of reproduction also. In some plants which are absent, which are having no flower, the stem is doing the reproduction process. It gives support to other plants, part of the plant. I have just now told it is giving the support to that plant. The next part is the fruit. So what is the duty of and what is the work of the fruit? Fruits have different shapes. We are knowing they are having different taste also. Some fruits are consisting of one seed like mango, and some are consisting many seeds such as guava. The pods of the beans and the peas are actually fruits. Okay, the next and the last important part is the root. Root hold the soil firmly and anchor the plant. Anchor the plant means what? It gives the energy, it boosts that plant. The main function of the root are to absorb and transport water and nutrients from the soil. What is the main function of that root? Yes, whatever the nutrients are present in the soil, the water which we are giving to it, it is doing the work of absorbing it and transporting that particular nutrients and water to the remaining parts of the plant. It is also doing the work of storing the food. There are two types of root. One is the fibrous root. You can see the fibrous root here, which is present over here in the picture. Yes, fibrous root, they are like hair-like structure. They are, you can see down to the onion, you can see this structure. So that particular roots are fibrous roots. And tap root, which are generally classified. See, you can see the main part, that is the primary root. And there are few branches for it, and again that branches are again divided into sub branches. So such type of roots are said to be as tap roots. Okay, tap roots are going deep into the soil, and banyan tree, hibiscus tree, which is very strong, they are consisting of these tap roots. Okay, so we will see further why there was need to classify these plants. Can you tell me why there was need to do this? Yes, because there are lot of species present of plants on this universe, on this earth. So if we are not doing so, we cannot judge them on the basis of their particular variety or their particular characteristics. Okay, up to now information about lack of plants have been collected. While studying the diversity in plants, they are classified for the sake of convenience on the basis of the similarities, the differences in their structure, their organs and their other characteristics also. So what things they are considering? They are considering the similarities, what similar thing is present in them. They are considering the differences, what are the differences between the two particular plants, and they are looking their structure, their organs and also that particular organs characteristics. Okay, we will see further now. The scientist Carolus Linnaeus, he is also known as C. Linnaeus. He was the first to make this scientific classification of plants. This is also an important question asked in 7th standard. Who was the first person to do this classification? Yes, he was Carolus Linnaeus. You can say him as C. Linnaeus also. It was his method for classification of that we are using now. Okay, so they have given you the chart. That is not that important because this part is omitted by the government. So we'll just see further classification of plant. We can easily notice the difference in the shape and the height of the plants in our surrounding. It is easy to classify the plants on basis of the observation. So the next part in this lesson, the types of the trees, their particular the variety in them we are going to study later. Thank you.